This is every secret German aircraft of World War II. Experimental fighters, prototype bombers, classified projects, covert reconnaissance planes, rocket interceptors, unconventional designs, over 80 hidden machines. Some revolutionary, some desperate, some never declassified. First up, experimental fighters and interceptors. Messerschmitt Me 163 Komet. This rocket-powered interceptor was the fastest aircraft of the war. Its incredible speed came at tremendous cost. Extreme fuel volatility and limited endurance made operations exceptionally dangerous for pilots. Next, Heinkel He 280. This was the world's first turbojet fighter to fly. It preceded the Me 262 by nearly 2 years. Development delays and engine problems prevented it from reaching production status. Messerschmitt Me 309, an ambitious attempt to replace the Bf 109. It featured a tricycle landing gear and pressurized cockpit. Severe handling problems doomed the program before serial production began. This is the Focke-Wulf Ta 183, Kurt Tank's radical swept-wing jet fighter design. It existed only as prototypes and wind tunnel models. The war ended before flight testing could commence successfully. Heinkel He 162 Volksjäger, the desperate people's fighter built largely from wood. It was designed for rapid mass production using minimal strategic materials. Hundreds were completed, but few saw combat. Now this is the Messerschmitt Me 328, a tiny pulsejet-powered parasite fighter concept. It was intended to be carried by bombers for defense. Severe vibration issues made the design impractical and dangerous. Up next, Focke-Wulf Fw 187 Falke. This twin-engine heavy fighter showed exceptional promise in testing. Political decisions and resource allocation prevented its adoption despite superior performance characteristics. Blohm and Voss BV 155, a high-altitude interceptor developed from the Messerschmitt Bf 109. It featured a massive wingspan for extreme altitude operations. Only prototypes were completed before war's end. Next up, secret bombers and attack aircraft. Horten Ho IX. This revolutionary flying wing jet bomber represented a radical departure from conventional design. Its stealth characteristics were decades ahead of their time. Only prototype testing occurred before project cancellation. Arado Ar 234 Blitz, the world's first operational jet bomber. Its speed made interception nearly impossible during reconnaissance and bombing missions. Limited numbers saw service in the war's final months. Next, Heinkel He 177 Graf, Germany's only heavy strategic bomber that reached operational status. Persistent engine fires plagued the design throughout its troubled service life. It never fulfilled its intended strategic role. Junkers Ju 287. This experimental jet bomber featured forward-swept wings, a highly unconventional configuration. Wind tunnel tests showed promising results. Soviet forces captured prototypes and continued development post-war. This is the Messerschmitt Me 264 Amerika Bomber, designed specifically for intercontinental missions against the United States. Only prototypes were built before Allied bombing destroyed the program completely. Focke-Wulf Ta 400, an enormous 6-engine strategic bomber project intended for transatlantic range. It existed only in detailed design studies. Resource shortages prevented any construction from beginning. Now this is the Henschel Hs 129, a heavily armored ground attack aircraft built specifically for tank destruction. Its powerful cannon made it lethal against Soviet armor. Poor visibility and underpowered engines limited effectiveness. Blohm and Voss BV 141, one of history's most asymmetric aircraft designs ever flown. The observer nacelle was completely offset from the fuselage. Despite flying well, it never entered production. Continuing with classified transport and special mission aircraft. Messerschmitt Me 264 V1, the prototype long-range reconnaissance variant designed for covert oceanic surveillance missions. Its exceptional range enabled deep penetration flights over enemy territory. Allied intelligence tracked the program closely. Arado Ar 232 Tatzelwurm. This advanced transport featured an innovative landing gear system with 11 pairs of small wheels. It could operate from damaged airfields and rough terrain. Production remained extremely limited throughout. This is the Blohm and Voss BV 238, the largest aircraft produced by any Axis power during the war. This massive flying boat was intended for long-range maritime transport. Only one prototype flew before destruction. Junkers Ju 390, a 6-engine ultra-long-range transport and reconnaissance aircraft. Reports suggest test flights reached within miles of New York City. Only 2 prototypes were completed before program termination. Next, Heinkel He 274, a high-altitude bomber developed secretly in occupied France. It featured a pressurized cabin and exceptional service ceiling. French resistance intelligence monitored the classified project throughout development. Arado Ar 234P night fighter variants of the jet bomber equipped with specialized radar equipment. Multiple crew configurations were tested for nocturnal interception missions. Few prototypes reached advanced testing stages. And now Focke-Wulf Fw 300, a proposed long-range maritime reconnaissance aircraft with exceptional endurance capability. The design remained on drawing boards throughout the war. No construction ever began on prototypes. Up next, Messerschmitt Me 261 Adelfine, an experimental long-range reconnaissance aircraft built for record-breaking flights. It achieved remarkable range during testing missions. Only 3 examples were constructed for evaluation purposes. Continuing with covert reconnaissance and intelligence aircraft. Arado Ar 240, an advanced reconnaissance aircraft designed with remote-controlled defensive armament. Development problems delayed the program for years. It was eventually superseded by more successful designs. Blohm and Voss BV 141 reconnaissance variant. The asymmetric design provided unparalleled observation capabilities for tactical intelligence gathering. Its unusual configuration intrigued and confused Allied intelligence analysts throughout testing. Next, Focke-Wulf Fw 189 Nachjagd, a night reconnaissance version equipped with infrared detection equipment for covert operations. It conducted clandestine missions over Soviet positions. Few aircraft received the classified modification. This is the Dornier Do 335 Fail reconnaissance variant. The push-pull configuration enabled exceptional speed for photographic missions. Its unconventional layout made interception extremely difficult. Limited production prevented widespread deployment. Now this is the Heinkel He 219 Uhu photo reconnaissance variant. Beyond night fighting, specialized versions carried cameras for nocturnal intelligence gathering. These missions remained highly classified throughout operational service. Messerschmitt Bf 109H, a high-altitude reconnaissance variant with extended wings for extreme altitude operations. It was developed specifically for stratospheric photographic missions. Production numbers remained minimal before war's end. Next, Junkers Ju 388, an advanced high-altitude reconnaissance aircraft derived from earlier bomber designs. It featured a pressurized crew compartment and powerful engines. Allied bombing raids disrupted production before widespread deployment. Focke-Wulf Ta 154 Mesquite reconnaissance prototype. Germany's attempt to match the British Mosquito's reconnaissance capabilities using wooden construction. Glue problems caused catastrophic structural failures during testing. Secret rocket and jet projects. Bachem Ba 349 Natter, a vertical launch rocket interceptor designed for point defense against bomber formations. Pilots were expected to bail out after firing rockets. Test flights proved extremely dangerous with fatal accidents. Lippisch P.13a, a radical ramjet-powered delta wing fighter existing only as wind tunnel models and prototypes. It required rocket-assisted takeoff for initial acceleration. Allied forces captured incomplete prototypes and research data. Sombold So 344 Parasite Bomber, a rocket-powered flying bomb designed to be carried beneath larger aircraft to targets. The pilot would bail out after aiming the explosives-filled fuselage. Development never progressed beyond design studies. Next up, experimental trainers and test aircraft. Arado Ar-96B jet conversion, an experimental adaptation testing early turbojet engines on existing trainer airframes. These classified trials provided crucial data for jet fighter development. Few conversions were completed for testing. Bücker Bü 181 Bistman high-altitude variant, a pressurized version developed for training pilots in stratospheric flight operations. The modification program remained limited to prototype testing. Standard variants continued production throughout the war. And now Focke-Wulf Fw 58Y experimental testbed. This twin-engine trainer was adapted for testing various classified equipment and weapons systems. Multiple configurations served clandestine research programs. Few records document specific modifications. Gotha Go 145 rocket-assisted variant. Standard trainers modified with experimental rocket boosters for short-field takeoff research. These dangerous tests contributed to assault glider and interceptor development. Pilot safety remained a secondary concern. Heinkel He 46 reconnaissance trainer conversion. Obsolete aircraft modified for training photographic intelligence specialists in covert techniques. These aircraft simulated actual reconnaissance missions over practice targets. The program operated away from frontline operations. Next, Klemm Kl 35 liaison variant, a basic trainer adapted for high-speed courier missions between classified research facilities. Its unassuming appearance provided operational security for sensitive communications. Limited modifications distinguished it from standard trainers. Now this is the Messerschmitt Bf 108 experimental testbed. The pre-war tourer became a platform for testing advanced navigation and communication equipment. Multiple aircraft served classified development programs throughout Germany. Records remained incomplete or destroyed. Siebel Fh 104 Halor pressurized variant, an experimental cabin pressurization system tested for high-altitude transport operations. The research informed development of strategic reconnaissance and bomber aircraft. Only prototype conversions were completed. Finally, we have classified vertical flight and unconventional designs. Focke-Achgelis Fa 269, a tiltrotor aircraft concept combining helicopter vertical flight with conventional forward speed. Wind tunnel models and design studies showed promise. No full-scale prototype was ever constructed successfully. Focke-Wulf Triebflügel, an extraordinary vertical takeoff interceptor with rotating wings around the fuselage for lift. The pilot would sit in a cockpit surrounded by spinning blades. Only design drawings and models existed at war's end. Doblhoff WNF 342, a tipjet helicopter utilizing compressed air expelled from rotor blade tips for propulsion. Multiple prototypes demonstrated the unconventional propulsion concept successfully. American forces captured examples and continued secret research post-war.